Okay.
I don't think we are.
Yeah.
It's a 50-second play.
And here we go.
Hanging out, just another night of the week. Oh, to be more specific, it's a Tuesday Eve. Got some ideas that just might intrigue. You should come on by tonight. We're spilling the beans.
Let's give it a minute. All right.
Want to play it over again?
And we'll do it again.
Hanging out, just another night of the week. Oh,
we
to
didn't have
be
to do
more
that.
specific,
It got
it's
it.
a Tuesday Eve.
Oh.
Got some ideas that just might
All right, we are having
intrigue. You
technical
should come
problems.
on by tonight. We're spilling the beans.
It was on. It was on there.
It was on, but it's delayed a while. Hello, everyone.
We're here.
We're here. We've been fighting with computers.
We did a fake out false start earlier.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
For some reason, we don't have a feed.
We figured it out.
And now we do. So what are we talking about?
Building things.
Building things out of wood, I think.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Or whatever.
Or
It doesn't have to be wood.
building things inside and outside.
Oh.
Oh, you
Jeez,
okay?
I'm sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
All right.
We're struggling.
Yeah,
struggling
sorry.
tonight.
We're a little off our game today. We had one of our walls knocked down
Mm,
outside, but story for another time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for, and please, if you don't mind, just saying hello in the chat. We're pretty sure we're live. John checked, Abel checked, and we're here.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about building stuff. We've talked about it before,
Mm,
utilizing things, recycling things that we've used, and then building more things.
Yeah.
All kinds of examples of that.
the table right there.
Good one
Yeah.
right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a little later. I'll get some juice and show you what it does.
Mm.
We've seen it before, but yeah, it's just a little drafting table that I took different scraps from different pieces of furniture, and put it together.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, we're talking about ideas for mainly creative things, but also anything. A good friend of ours, built his own ice tub or ice bath
Oh yeah,
out
yeah.
of a fridge or out of an old freezer, I think.
It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think filtration is a thing that you need to do for it. So like he created a filter for it and all kinds of things. It's pretty neat. So stuff like that. Sorry about that. Playing 50 seconds. But yeah, so, and again, we've talked about it before, especially for us building sets, things like that.
Mhm. Which I was thinking about like the other day when we were taking apart the old bed frame. Remember I said so there's like the two side like beams that are like the long part of it. They
With
have
the side rail of the bed.
yeah,
Yep,
side rail,
yep.
exactly. It has those like rails like on it, which is where you put like those wood things to like hold it up and stuff. But if you put those together and use like a caster or something attached with like a little like pin going through it or something,
Mhm.
you could make like a rolling track
Mhm.
like out
Oh,
of that.
Nice.
you
Yeah.
know?
Right. Right.
Yeah, like what when you say a rolling track, you mean like a camera track or like
You could use it as a camera track. You could use
Mm.
it to put like a piece of set on it and then have like a string attached to it or something,
Oh,
like
like
someone
a- yeah,
behind
like a
it, like
prop,
moving with
like
it.
moving it.
Mm.
Or
Yeah.
a piece of scenery, like you put a wooden board on it and then the background's moving back and
A
forth.
futuristic door that
Futuristic
slides
door.
open, or an elevator door.
Mm-hmm.
I recently made a camera track.
Mm.
It's like a big overhead one.
Mm-hmm.
It's about maybe 7 feet long.
Whoa.
And I used two mic stands, and I used like water piping that you get from like Home Depot for
Mm.
like metal water pipes,
Hmm.
and I used like light socket. I'm not really sure what you call them, but basically what holds the guts of like a light switch. It's like a little
Oh.
metal thing. Well, they have these pre-cut holes in them to feed the wires through, and they're the same size as the pipes.
Hmm.
So I poked them out and ran the pipes through them. So now you imagine two pipes with this metal housing that's like gutted out, has nothing in it, and it slides back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just screwed a screw in the bottom for a camera mount,
Hmm.
screwed it on. Now I got a whole sliding thing.
Wow.
That's smart.
Two
That-
pipes, two like $2, light socket things,
Yeah.
That's a cool
and a couple
idea.
mic stands. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, let us know in the chat too if you've like ever made anything of the sort.
Mhm.
Whether like for like that's, I mean that's pretty creative, but that's also like that's something you're going to use. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a utility,
Yeah.
tool. That's more or less what this drafting table was, and it was kind of a piece of art too.
Mhm.
You were into building Rube Goldberg. Oh
Mhm.
yes, Justin, hello, our old friend.
Yeah.
What's up, Justin?
Yeah, but like Rube Goldberg machines, and what were you using? What were some of the materials that you were reusing for that?
Like cardboard tubes, cardboard tubing, and any kind of like cardboard stuff is like great for that.
Oh yeah, but you also like
Um,
used like a window, like random.
Blinds, like I had blinds for like a window. I had an old toaster.
I know.
I used
We need to get images of this.
I know. I had a bunch of stuff set up there for a while. I took it down though.
What is that? I don't know what Rube.
Oh, a Rube Goldberg machine.
Oh, so
You should look one
look
up.
it
So basically, it's like a very intricate way of making.
it's an overcomplicated system that does
Machine.
like one simple
Task. Yeah.
Oh,
task.
okay. Kind of like when you watch a movie from like the 80s and they have this big machine that cracks an egg.
Yes. Yeah. Or you see
Ex-
also people
yep.
make those ball tracks that like knock over the
They did it a-
dominoes, which then knock this over,
Yeah.
and then this, and then this, and then this.
Why is it named that? Is that someone?
Rube
I
Goldberg. Oh,
think
yes.
that was the guy.
That was the guy.
Right?
He was.
Yeah. Yeah. We should look that up too.
Yeah.
But
Let's
yeah.
see. This is
I
a
love that
world's
idea.
largest Rube Goldberg machine lights up a Christmas tree.
You know, this kind of sparks. We're doing this now. Are we allowed to show other YouTubers on YouTube?
If
Yeah.
if it's for like educational purposes.
Yeah. If you're
Oh,
if
okay.
you're
Yeah.
commenting on it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. They do it a lot in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He
Yeah.
has
Right.
a bunch of
Yeah.
those.
That's
Yep.
what I was thinking of. I couldn't think of place the movie. Didn't they do it in Gremlins too? Maybe.
That
Maybe.
crazy inventor dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, so obviously you use like marbles a lot too.
Oh yeah.
But it's like designing the tracks perfectly. So
Mm.
everything like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, that's stuff that you could just stare at all day too.
Mhm.
It'd be great if it just like ends up just setting off a whoopee cushion.
Right?
Yeah.
This one lights up a Christmas tree. I'll go to the end so you can see.
So that's basically the art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen ones that do like music and stuff too.
I've seen other people using really cool things. Balloons. You know, you like snip a cable and a balloon goes up.
Mm-hmm.
With
Oh.
helium, and then it like creates like a maybe a knock or or it's like a slingshot kind of thing. Or
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
something like that. Really cool stuff.
That is really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
really
there it
fun.
goes. There's a Christmas tree.
So I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of like that's like kind of the opposite of building. Well, it does do one task. So if you need something to drop marbles,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, get a marble from A to B. It's really creative. It's really cool.
Mm.
I think that is probably good for engineering. Like it's good training for engineering students, maybe building a Rube Goldberg machine.
He was a guy. Oh, he's a cartoonist too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Rube Goldberg.
He was a founding member and first president of the National Cartoonist Society.
Wow.
Cool.
That's cool.
That is neat. Yeah, I wonder if there's any kind of media or literature about him. But I mean, yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to those machines, I think it comes down to all kinds of stuff, which
Physics.
is fun. Physics, science, you know, and like a creative like mind with that. You know, it's really fun. Yeah, you can look up other ones too that do music. So every point of action is a note, and
Mm.
it's timed perfectly to like a marbles drop.
That's
Oh.
so insane.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
really good.
I don't
And they
know.
have machines that build that.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's multiple marbles going down and going different paths, but playing chords
Mm.
alongside. You know, I imagine they use things like xylophone pieces. You know, the
Mhm.
pieces from xylophones and put those like perfectly like maybe onto a wall. But there's some really cool ones online that you can see too.
Yeah.
That it reminds me of have you ever seen those kids that made musical instruments out of old computers?
No, that sounds
They're super
amazing.
cool. That'd be a fun thing to
Whoa.
look up.
Yeah.
Can you get do you get audio? Do we get audio from your
if we turn that's muted, right?
Did I mute it?
I don't know.
well, you know, we could at least just
Yeah,
show it.
we can check.
That might be another reason to figure out how to get audio onto this thing.
What was it? Computer.
I'm getting fatigued from technology.
I know.
I'm gonna figure it out right now.
I'll do it.
No, we don't have to do it. I'm just saying for next time. But yeah, those are really cool. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Let me find it. Computer. What is it?
I don't know the name of it, but they're basically making musical instruments out of computers.
That's another area where I've always been curious. You know, I started taking apart like wind organs and things like that. Like
Yeah.
little wind organs are basically just motors blowing air, compressing air into a little loft, which then gets shot through the reeds.
Yeah.
That you press on the keys. And so when I was looking at the reeds, I was like, can I? At first, I was seeing how hard it might be to restore them, but I realized, oh yeah, it's like a flute. It's like anything else. You have to carve and create the instrument to like a specific measurement for the notes and such, like size of holes, size of airway holes, and bypass holes, things like that. Like there's a lot of science that goes into all of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a Rube Goldberg machine. Those are basically just large. Those are just large organs. You know, with all these different moving parts, or large pianos just working a different way to make a tune.
Yeah, no, it's like a whole band. There's like a full band there on YouTube, and they use all musical instruments.
And they use computers.
Computers, yeah. They make them all out of like old computers.
And now, are they
really
just
cool.
like, are they using the computer components for it at all, or is it just the housing?
They're using the computer components. They're using like the little beeps and boops that the machines make.
Oh, cool! Like MS DOS type, like kind of noises and stuff.
There it is. That right there.
This one?
Down one. I think.
I have seen that. That's the guy that makes noises with fans. That makes music with fans.
Oh no,
it's pretty
it wasn't
cool.
that one. I don't know. There was a whole band. They were really big, but I guess they're hidden now. But anyway, yeah, it made me think of
well,
that.
that's really neat. That's like and that's a little bit beyond. That's building something abstract, but also useful and cool as heck, with computer engineering, you know, and building skills.
I have these like they pulled down part of the wall on the other building over there, and I always loved the wood. It was like very, very old,
aged and like
very aged, kind of gray. Yeah.
It was almost burnt from the sun.
Yeah. And so I asked him if I could keep the wood. I still have the wood, but I have these like dreams of grandeur of all these crazy things I'm going to build with it. But then every time I'm like, all right, I'll use the wood, I'm like, oh, this might not be the thing.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Because it's like once that's gone, that's gone.
Potentially. I mean, you could, right. I mean, you could do all kinds of things with it too. There is a good amount. Did you get a lot?
I got all of it.
That's pretty cool.
But
I mean,
the plan is, in order to keep it looking like that, I have to epoxy the entire thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have to lock it in, and then once you start cutting it, it's like that's what it is.
Yes.
You know.
Yep.
There's a thing called the Flopatron.
Maybe that's it.
It's like
a flop.
I don't know. This might just be something completely random.
Well, yeah,
but it's kind of cool. It's like old computer parts. I don't know. It looks crazy.
Yeah, I think also.
This is stuff like this.
Justin says, I mostly have made furniture or planking. Not the most interesting. Well, that's fine.
That's right.
I do the same thing. Like I got tired of trying to buy tables to make them work and stuff.
Yeah,
and just,
we've made a few tables.
You make your own tables. They're not hard. Yep.
Pop some casters on those tables.
Yeah. I made some heavy duty tables using a couple like wood decking brackets, a couple 4x4s,
Yeah.
and just a big piece of plywood.
Right.
And
Right.
that is an incredibly sturdy
That's cool.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Justin loves a good bookshelf. I do too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially like, you know, I don't know, there's little things that you wouldn't think to measure, like for comic book bookshelves, like the
Mhm.
actual size of the book, you know?
Well, I remember
Um,
that when you got that, I was like, you're gonna run into trouble
Yeah.
with your cubbies. You
Yes,
gotta,
exactly.
you
The
gotta get
cubby size,
you need
right?
the 13-inch cubbies.
Campfire chairs, yeah, definitely. I don't know, there's something like to at least
That's a
trying
nice
to
one.
build something every now and then too, or thinking outside of the box when it comes to that. You know, folks say they don't have the mind to do it, but I think you know, one would be
This is weird
surprised.
without
What
the
is this?
music. It's like,
This is exactly what I was talking about, though.
is it?
Yeah.
Let me
And
see
if you got the audio, they sound crazy. Yeah.
This one's Bohemian Rhapsody. We can find a different one. There's a couple of them.
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
easy.
I
Yeah,
muted
do
myself.
Pokemon.
So,
Do
Pokemon.
Pokemon. Yeah, that sounds good. There's a hard drive. There's a hard drive. Must be so it could be. Yeah. Yeah. They probably spent all the time building like a program that runs everything.
Yeah.
And then yeah. And then yeah, they built the system to make it.
Yeah, that's cool. In a world we must defend. I think those are lyrics from the Pokemon song.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that tune. Yeah, that was really neat too. That's kind of like a Rube Goldberg.
It kind
totally.
of is,
That's like,
but the whole thing
Mhm.
does the thing. So I don't know.
well, it's like a roundabout
Yeah.
way to play that song. It's just another, but it's a very arduous, like it's going through
Yeah.
hundreds of mechanics and programs and codes.
Mhm.
Old too. Like
Mm.
that's old stuff. It's like, I mean, I wouldn't even begin to imagine how it's done, but
Yeah.
it's really impressive.
It is.
Yeah, having some Pokemon Love Fest on there. That was really good. I do love that song too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Kaylee, I'm sorry you can't see it. So
Oh, it's okay. I forgot to move that over.
Yeah, we didn't even point the light at us. We're definitely off our
I
game.
know.
The light is pointing at the camera.
That's why
well,
it seemed
the camera
dimmer
looks
too.
amazing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, it looks like maybe some folks just hopped on. But yeah, again, we're talking about building stuff,
Mhm.
building weird stuff, building fun stuff, building instruments, which I imagine, as mentioned, would be really tough. But we went down the Rube Goldberg rabbit
Mhm.
hole of instruments, and that would we were brought to that. It's real. It really is cool. I like that sound too. That bit sound.
Mm.
That fun old
Mhm.
computer game.
Oh yeah,
like, bit
it's
sound.
super cool.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Especially when it's kind of like warm and polished. It's nice.
Yeah. I feel like it's really I don't know, every time I've heard it like done through like a computer program to like kind of reimagine it or I guess emulate it is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It never sounds right.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of plugins that are out there for like audio too. Kind of make drum beats with something that sounds like Nintendo sound card sounds or whatever.
Yeah.
Never ever sounds right.
Huh.
Hmm.
I've gotten pedals same. Like I just
they
couldn't hit
they
quite
don't
what I wanted.
they don't get it. Yeah,
Mm.
they don't get you there.
And I don't know if that is achievable live. You know, maybe that's something that you do have to like run through something. But there are bands that have done that. But yeah, that's a really neat. That's a
Yeah,
really,
my
Yeah.
buddy Jaguardini, he uses a Game Boy He has
That's
his
really
Game
cool.
Boy wired.
right.
He's got the glove too, and he somehow can use the glove to
Ah.
make sounds and like he does
That's
crazy stuff.
That's
crazy.
great.
Yeah.
I love that. That is
Yeah.
really neat. Yeah, and I don't know what's it's like what's something that you've built recently, Kaylee, that you would use.
Mm,
You did build up Eggplant and Muffin Man.
yeah.
Your two figures.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for the stop motion.
Yeah.
Kaylee came out with a really idea. And that is kind of, we're stretching it, but at the same time, we're talking about like, building something, and that's literally like you were building that. What were the materials you used for it?
So I ended up, because Alex showed me that video of, instead of using, because before I was using the armature wire and then like a mesh wire, which is like so sharp. Like once you cut it too, and you're constantly just like stabbing yourself as you're trying to like
And
work
this is
with
to
it
build the characters that you have for the videos.
Yeah. So,
and
and they're clay characters, so you want them to be like posable and stuff to get like the motion down. But when I did it, I think they were mostly clay, but I had the armature wire and stuff in to like with the idea of like they'll be posable if I do that. But I ended up using, after seeing that video, people just used tinfoil. And
really?
tinfoil
put
is
the
like
clay around the
so
tinfoil.
like malleable
Yes,
that you
it is,
can
yeah.
just crunch it up. And then I used that for like the base parts because it's still light enough. And then you can put a thin layer of clay around it.
Mm,
And then for the joints and stuff, that's where I use the armature wire
armature,
to
yeah.
make them like actually like posable and
that's
stuff.
cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. And they looked like awesome.
Mhm.
'Cause you polished them up a bit. You're ready to step back into that. That's really neat. That
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah, that's like what we were looking at with the guy making the dinosaurs, and he was using masking tape,
Right. And
Yeah.
like epoxy or something, like a putty.
like a
you
putty.
know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
just something that can move around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's and besides the camera rail, I know you're always building things.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's like
that was the last big project I kind of did.
Mhm. Have you ever
Um,
built anything that did not work at all? That was like a failure, or close to it, at least.
I think early on, maybe.
I've built
Yeah.
plenty of things that
I remember I tried to build like when I first started working with wood,
Mhm.
I tried to build one of those shelves that has like a like hanging on the wall. It's like has a like a fold down table,
Mhm.
but then it folds up into the wall. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like a desk type thing.
Mhm.
I tried to build one of those things with materials you'd find at Home Depot. The thing was so heavy, it was like impossible to keep on the wall.
Oh no.
And the hinges, like I had to use like pistons to like keep it from like not
Falling.
breaking off the hinges.
Oh,
And eventually I gave up on it, but that was like, it was kind of the first thing I built, but it was definitely like the first real big fail.
Yeah.
And then from that moment I realized like you have to worry about how much things weigh,
Yeah.
not
yeah,
just the
wait.
construction
Right.
of things.
Right.
And that was very eye-opening.
Mhm.
Now I'm almost obsessive about whenever I build anything, like it has to be light.
Mhm.
It has to be light and strong. And if you can do that, that's when you build something that if you make like super heavy stuff, it's, I mean, trying to move it around and things like,
Yeah. And
you know.
making things that can be like adaptable too.
yeah.
Like I remember you made that, I think it was at the Old Space, that big, it was like a big triangle that we used as like a doll. We made it into a dolly.
Yeah.
And it had like casters on it. So it was a big piece of wood that was like cut into like a triangle. I think we had used the wood for something else, and then
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
repurposed it for that.
Yeah.
And we used it at the Old Space, and it was great because it was big,
Yeah.
like there was big open area to like move the camera around and stuff.
Idea being a tripod, you can just pop a tripod on there
Yeah.
Mhm.
and kind of roll it around, kind of like a spaceship.
Yeah.
It did work pretty well too. It did.
But once we came here, like it was. I think we realized like, oh, it's too big for like this space.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Rugs too. I mean,
Mhm.
they're necessary here, so it's a little tougher terrain. But
Yeah.
Justin says, have you seen videos of the epoxy gaming tables? I have not,
Oh, that sounds
No.
cool.
but I have seen epoxy tables and the things people do with them, which
Oh,
is just
yeah. That's what I was gonna
I'd
do.
love
with
to
that
get
thing.
into that world of building, but I
Mm.
imagine the epoxy is expensive. Whenever I look up like buying it, like in bulk,
Mhm.
it's super expensive.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah, like you have to buy 2 different types, like the best kind, and you
Oh.
mix those,
Mm.
and that's traditionally whenever I've used epoxy on like boats with my dad.
Oh yeah.
It was like a double tube kind of situation to make
Oh yeah. I don't know. I think they've made a lot
a
of
chemical
advancements in
reaction.
it.
I mean,
There's one I
it
have.
It took 2, and then I do have like I ended up like just getting like clear.
Yeah.
Excuse me, a clear coat,
Yeah.
and it's very very thick. It's basically epoxy, but you know, for the amount that I bought it for, is very expensive.
There's different
and it's not a
grades
lot.
of epoxy, right? Like is it all like a glue, like essentially?
I'm not
But it
sure.
can
I
be
really
like
don't know.
putty.
I
There
don't
can be
know
epoxy
anything.
putty, like.
There's like that clear epoxy. I was trying to look for a video that I had saved in YouTube, but I have so many videos saved in YouTube, I'll never find it.
Is that where people put stuff in the table under resin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Mm.
epoxy gaming tables.
So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll take like an old piece of wood,
Mhm.
right? And then they'll get like the video I was going to reference. They'll get like these fluorescent colored paint, right? So you paint the whole wood in this fluorescent color. You know, tabletop, you wood for a tabletop, whatever. You just paint the whole thing.
Mhm.
But then you sand it down to the point where you get back to the raw wood. But what happens is all of the fluorescent colors are stuck in the cracks
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuck in like that's why you want to use old wood, because all like the cracks will fill up with it. And you
Mhm.
epoxy it. And the epoxy makes things like really pop, and it just looks so crazy.
Wow.
There was some
That's
the
neat.
thing I have, this guy just had this huge log, and he did it with like this huge old log, and it looks so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
That sounds great. And so when you resin it down, you then like shape back out, well, whatever you want.
So you pour the resin on,
Yeah.
you let it dry, and then you can sand the resin back down, but you sand it to the point where you make it flat, but you still got a lot on there. You put many coats, so you never
Yeah.
get back down to the wood once you put the epoxy on. But then you like buff it. You like actually buff it like
And
you
this
would.
is after you sand it down all the way from the paint.
Yeah. So paint goes on. You
Yep.
sand it back down to the wood, so the cracks are filled with the paint, but you get back down to raw wood. Then you epoxy it.
Mm-hmm.
And you put a few layers, and then because the epoxy is like, you're just going to pour it on there.
Yeah.
So you're going to have bubbles that rise to the top
Sure,
and stuff.
yeah.
And then you sand that down, and then you buff it. And the
Hmm.
thing, it looks like it's surrounded by glass.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
See, I've had such a hard time working with the epoxy stuff, like the resin stuff.
I know, like, probably the stuff you're getting,
It's like a different.
you're using
grade,
like
Little-
art.
Mm.
Yeah. So this stuff is more of like an industrial grade thing. It's stuff that
And you
people
don't have to mix it with another kind.
No, I think you get it in like a 5-gallon,
Yeah.
you know.
I'll have to look that up. Maybe I'm probably looking for the art type, which is
Yeah.
like yeah.
But I think there's like some brand that has a very specific formula that's the one everyone just kind of uses.
Right. Yeah. There's a
Mm.
I mean, because there's a chemistry to it.
Yeah.
When you're sure of it, like whenever you're making them, sometimes the resin doesn't fully adhere and it's more like sticky.
Well, it
I'm gonna try to
stays
find
like
that
Or
it stays
gooey.
like tacky. And it takes a long time to dry, even if I do something like small, which I don't know if it has to do with like the temperature in here and stuff, or if
Well-
it's like the balance of the mixture too.
Right. Right. Yeah. So there's chemistry to it, kind of getting into it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right. That was Rob that said, is that where people put stuff in the table under resin? Yeah, and I like that idea too. It kind of looks like another world, especially when people start putting LEDs into it after it's dried, or like spots for LEDs. I don't know. There's all kinds of really cool stuff that I've seen with it. And I've come up with ideas for it, but that's a really neat thing.
So I sent you one, Kaylee.
Oh, cool.
You can bring that one up, and I'll try to find the other one.
Hang on 1 sec.
This one's rad. this guy, or this person's using
This is a different one.
this.
Oh yeah, so sorry. That's yeah, see how there's two? You have to like mix those.
Yeah, it could be. That could be it. That looks pretty
That's
right.
what I saw.
That's
and
a
they're pretty
different one.
expensive, right? I think they're pretty expensive.
No, that's only $26.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, sir.
I think it's come a long way in the past few years.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the other one?
Yeah, whatever it was I saw was I don't know why that's.
There's one more. I always love this video. Oh, this is cool, Connor. You're gonna love this.
Do you want the audio? You don't need it.
I don't think we need it. This guy made a
Whoa.
table out of circuit boards. So cool. And he uses epoxy. That was a grunt.
Yeah.
Paint stripper. Okay.
I could watch people working on stuff like this for hours. I'll put it on in the background.
That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't find the other one, but this will paint the picture.
Whoa. So he's gonna put the epoxy over that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And do they light up and such?
No, I don't think so.
How does it stay flat? Like, isn't the table?
He's probably
They must
gonna-
put guards on the side. Right?
No, he's probably gonna bore. I don't remember how he made this one in particular, but I think he's gonna bore out a part of the table and sink them in. The epoxy can be like this thick.
Mm,
You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be flat. Yeah, he's gonna bore out the center of the table.
Nice. Yeah, so he kind of shows you too how to do it.
That's
cool.
cool.
Oh yeah, he's routing it out. Oh, that's a bugger.
Oh, jeez.
That takes a long time.
Oh. Let's see.
Yeah, you can
Wow.
skip a
Yeah,
little.
it's,
That's the epoxy.
Oh, but he is mixing it.
He is mixing it. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I lost it.
Oh, he is putting LEDs in too.
Oh, he puts LEDs in. See, there it is. He's pouring it. That's exactly. It's so cool to work with.
Nice. Let's see.
Whoa. Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
Oh, sorry, I keep putting my.
How cool. Ha! Cat likes it.
Yeah, that's rad, right?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Whoa.
But he's gonna sand that down.
Couldn't it be repaired?
Oh, something must have to. I don't know.
Oh, we put some kind of finish on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That's wild stuff.
But that gets you thinking of like just like, do you have a bunch of old electronics?
yeah,
You know, what can you do with them?
yeah,
Mhm.
right.
You know, that's
Yeah.
a cool looking table if you ask me.
Yeah.
It looks like it. It looks like it does.
Wow.
That'd be cool if that was like an actual computer.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of supercomputer.
Yeah.
Like Justin just asked, does it work? You know, and it's like, yeah, that'd be cool. But it is cool how we put the LEDs in and everything
Yeah.
like that.
That's
um,
awesome.
But really, that stuff really makes you think outside the box,
Oh, this-
like what you can do with just like a pile of junk.
Mhm.
You know.
Yes, yeah, definitely,
Definitely.
definitely.
Mm.
That's good.
Oh yeah, yeah. The heat regulation would be, yeah, that'd be tough.
What's this?
The heat regulation if it were a computer.
Oh
It's
yeah,
covered in.
Oh.
covered in epoxy.
They put fans underneath.
Not recommended.
But yeah, that is really neat.
Hmm.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
I switch back to
Oh,
the full. Well, that's cool. Yeah. yeah, I don't know. There's something about I mean,
Oh, it's on split.
and then to go to
Oh,
like
pro.
a completely different back to wood, like from digital to wood,
Mm.
like just the other day, Shane like just built their bed needed to be bigger, so he just built a frame that was larger and
Yeah.
kind of fit it too. Now he does have the mind of an engineer, things like that, but I don't know. It's like it's good to try to at least do something like that. I think it's like it's good practice, and it is. I think it's cathartic.
Yeah.
Building furniture, restoring furniture.
Your pedal
Yeah.
board you made?
Oh, so
Yeah.
talk about weight.
Yeah.
During the
2x4s.
pandemic, I wanted to make a pedal board. Maybe I'll get some pictures too.
Mm.
To try to make a bow. That I have watched many a video about making a bow. I'd
Mm.
love to do that. But yeah, during the pandemic, I wanted to make myself like my own artistic pedal board. And the idea of it was that it could raise up, like when you click a certain pedal,
Mm.
it actuates, and you can control the pitch of the pedal board. Some folks like it higher, some folks like it lower. I don't really give a shit, so I don't know why I even built it in the first place. But the idea was kind of cool
Yeah.
that you could have it raise up to yourself. And I think I also had a cover for it, which added even more weight, right? So it's a pedal board. I had this idea that you could bring it to clubs, things like that, use it, or to shows. But the pedal board itself, without any pedals on it, weighed like 80 to 90 pounds. And
That
Here's
was a
2x4.
thick piece of plastic, right? That was the cover too.
that's another one. And that one is much lighter and much more compact. And that's the one with the lights and stuff. Which was
Oh
fun.
yeah, that one was wood, the original one.
The
right?
tough part with that one, with the first one, was not just the weight. It was the weight plus me trying to figure out how to get an actuator to push it up. But it was skinny. So I wanted my actuator to actually push out that way. And then leverage. I had to kind of like research leverage a little bit, like just understanding the physics of like how to make it lift. And I got it to work. It did work, but it was very, very, very heavy. And yeah, too heavy to even like work with.
Yeah.
It was just this Goliath thing that didn't even fit on my workbenches anymore, so you can, but still that was fun. Like I had to kind of mess up. The next one I made was much smaller. And I had made it out of a medicine box,
Oh yeah.
the medicine box in there, smaller, lighter, and then if I were to make something else, but I put the actuator to good use. I love the idea that you can just connect a power source, like this little machine that you can buy online, that goes up and down, but it's like energy, you just connect it to a battery, and it'll go up and down with force. It may not be that fast, but it's strong enough. And so yeah, I've got all these ideas for actuators and things like that. But it just but in principle they're so big, so whatever you're doing needs to be on kind of a large scale. They're usually used for beds, like making a bed lift up and down, like that kind of thing, which is cool. But but yeah, and I ended up using it for this. I think the camera should see that, right?
Yeah.
Make it go up and down. Show the evolution of that whole thing.
Oh yeah.
There was another thing I was watching. This guy built a guitar out of newspaper. He went to a newspaper.
And epoxy?
What?
Yeah.
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 That's really cool.
That's
Yeah, it's
wild.
unbelievable.
But it says, it goes to show. I saw someone do that with colored pencils.
Oh
So
yeah.
They stacked a bunch of So they cut a bunch of colored pencils and like to a thickness like of that, and just lined them all up on a table and then epoxied them.
Wow.
And then after epoxying them, they just shaved it and cut it to a guitar and just did it that way. It was
That's awesome.
really, really cool. Yeah.
That's wild.
So let's see. So yeah, this. So the idea is this is like my drawing pad, and or my drawing drafting board.
Drafting
for stuff.
area.
And so when it's up like this, like I put this this little ledge up, and when if I just want it flat, got these little hinges on it. Put this down. I think some people have seen
nice.
this if they're veterans to the show.
there it goes.
Push it, it goes down. Oh, there is an amplifier in the way.
Flat table.
And now it's flat. And I've got casters on it because I have casters on it because I put casters on everything.
So it's
And I
mobile with the
can
casters.
mobilize it, and then if I want to put it back up, just gotta wait a little bit.
There it goes.
Okay.
That's so cool. See, and that could be part of a Rube Goldberg.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the table adjusts, something rolls down the table. Paint, you have like little things with paint on them, and then the paint goes free once it tilts back up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's a good device. So, talking about making things work and not work. When I first made this, the pitch can only go so high. Otherwise, it just completely falls the fuck that way.
Sure, yeah.
And it's heavy. And so I knew it would be heavy. I kind of wanted it to be like just this big bulky thing because it's also, if you look at it from different sides, it's just got all these different, I don't know, legs and posts and everything.
Can you limit an actuator? Like, can you say only go this high?
Yeah, so what I have that actuator, how I have it wired is to a switch, not just an on-off switch, but or a negative positive
relay?
switch, but a relay, but it's also a stop relay. And so the actuator, like as soon as I cut power to it, can stop wherever I want it to. And that's, I mean, you can connect it to any kind of anything to control where it goes on and off. Like that's like primitive programming, right? It's really, really cool. So yeah. So there, like if I want it at least at less of a pitch, especially when I'm doing watercolors and I want to utilize gravity or otherwise, I can control the pitch. What I want to do is make it so that it can really go up. In order to do that, I need to maybe create front pegs, which I did. So if you were to look at it closer, I built it in a way so that there are like these legs going out horizontally. So as soon as it tips on those legs, they become its support and the actuator keeps going.
It's like a doorstop.
Exactly. But the weight from the top will still want it to go over. So the idea is have a fifth leg that comes out from the center and supports that. Tough to do. Like you're then adding on more pieces, and I want it to be it is you can just like sit at it. People can kind of sit at it with 4 chairs if I were to flatten it and bring it over. So there's a lot of like benefits to it, but you don't want to like push it too much. But if I were to make anything similar, lighter, I'd probably go lighter, but I've made the mistakes too. You've said before, which I loved, which is like your first one is probably not going to work, or it's not going to be the one.
Yeah, right.
It might be the one that works, but that's the whole idea to prototypes, right?
Yeah.
Like Edison and the whole he had to mess up thousands of times.
Yeah.
To come to the final answer. I think that was when he was looking for a filament for the light bulb.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how much actual truth is in there, but it's a good metaphor. It's a good thing. So yeah, building stuff. It's a fun thing if you can, and it's not that hard. I mean, especially you were just showing, YouTube. That guy was showing you how to do exactly what he was doing, step by step, visually, which is pretty cool. So if you're in the mood to try something like that, go for it. If you have an idea for us to try. There is one thing I have so we recently changed our bed frame. Rob is building a sandwich right now. But I have, this is a kind of a cool thing. The bed frame that we just had, the backboard is like this black false like oak wood. It's definitely a fake. It's not a real like actual grain of wood. I'm pretty sure it's not. But anyways, it's cool. It's just this kind of slightly megalithic. It's probably 7 feet standing up, black, like big board, kind of thick board. And it's cool. It kind of reminds me of Space Odyssey, 2001 Space Odyssey, or something, but it's just cool. So if anybody has any ideas for it, I'm thinking I might, if I am to do anything, I'll do pencil first, like a design if I want to do a design on it.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to, I painted some things that like a matte black, and it looked like the blackest I could find, and it looks really cool. So maybe I'll do that, and then something else to make it pop, and then do a shine over it. I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah.
But
that'd be cool. Sand down parts of it too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know, just so many cool things. So I'll keep you all posted. But if anybody has an idea of what I can do with this big black piece of wood, let me know.
I built
For
a
another project.
so I took, how I got one of these
The moving
what do you call
walls?
those, moving walls?
Yeah.
So I've always had this problem where when I'm making music, I like to send the music out from the computer to guitar pedals. I don't use the guitar pedals like by my feet, and I use some, but there's other ones that I just want to send audio into it and mess around with it and record the outcome back into the computer. And so I've had all different setups. I've had big tables that had all my pedals on it that I was always going around, but I just found it took up so much space, and it was like kind of annoying because like the pedals that are way in the back, you got to pull them out, and you got to, and having everything always set up was kind of a hassle.
Yeah.
So I took this and I bought
And this
Velcro,
is the moving wall.
the moving wall, and I bought Velcro, like a roll of Velcro, like a big roll. And I put it on it and I stapled it to it. So now the whole thing is Velcro.
Whoa.
And I put them up. They were up on the wall.
Sweet. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And so now
cool.
I can just send them on. I got this big wall
Analog
of guitar
circuit.
pedals.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
It's super cool.
So
Yeah.
Velcro and staples is like the smartest thing, because as long as the surface area is still exposed for the rest of the Velcro, the hooks of the Velcro, or vice versa, or the spikes, or the hooks or the loops, right? It's just what is it, like thousands and millions of hooks and loops, basically, one to the other. So for these paintings on this wall, which I think is so you can see some of them, and then there's even more like on our wall.
Yeah,
I stapled the hook part of the adhesive Velcro to the wall, and then stapled the hook part, or the loop part, to the painting, like to the actual canvas, and just and it's not going anywhere. The adhesive won't hold, but the staple, that one staple in the center,
that'll hold it.
Staples and Velcro are your friends. If the adhesive isn't strong enough to hold it, just staple it, because the Velcro might be strong enough to hold it. Yeah,
I guess that's the other thing I built. I've been getting into 3D printing more and more.
Oh yeah, and that's almost build anything you want. If you have the right resources. Yeah,
I made those backings for guitar pedals, and the idea was like, you can unscrew the back plate, and then put this backing on top of the back plate that's there, and then put the screws back in, and then you can put Velcro on that. That way you don't fuck up your pedal with the adhesive Velcro.
Yeah.
And then if ever you want to get rid of it, you can take it off or whatever. But it just keeps the pedal from getting damaged. And I got really good at it. Like the first one took me a very long time. Up to this point, I've done about like 10 or so, and now I can just like bang them out. I got a whole workflow for how to do it very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone does this, but I scan them. I have a big flatbed scanner, and I scan the pedal in, and then you can bring the picture that it scans into the program, and you can use that
for the dimensions and stuff.
Yeah, well, what you want to do, you get like just the out dimensions, but where all the screws go and all that. This stuff's a pain in the ass to try to measure, and you're gonna do it like 5 times before you get it right. But if you got the picture and you line up the picture, they're right there, and they always line up perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool.
Not one of them failed.
That's awesome. That's
great.
Cool.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. So and those are they're of course the better quality of printing machine you get, the better like resolution of the things
I actually think you can
get some good ones
for a couple $100.
Yeah. I saw like a really nice one for like 300.
I think
it was
I think sale. I think the thing with the cheaper ones versus the expensive ones has a lot to do with one setup.
Mm.
If you get a cheaper one, they come completely disassembled,
Yeah,
and you have to put them together perfectly.
that's pretty good though, because if you're forced to put it together, you then
Yeah.
have some better idea of how to troubleshoot it if something goes wrong.
Yes.
And repairing the parts.
Yep, that's very true.
That's really cool. I like that actually. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat. And I mean, of course, as long as the instructions are good, because if the instructions aren't good and there are thousands of small pieces, that would be
Yeah.
not worth it. I don't know if I'd do it,
Yeah.
but that's cool. That's really neat. Yeah. So I'd love to try that too. And you came out with a Pog stomp pedal. with
Oh
that?
yeah.
Stomp pedal.
I think everything I've made with that is around guitar pedals.
guitar pedals. Yeah.
Everything.
Might be a market there too. That's
yeah,
cool.
maybe.
That's
right?
really neat.
Boss backplate.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe.
Very nice. What are you looking at there?
Oh, I got epoxy rabbit hole.
Oh, epoxy rabbit hole. Haven't we
Mm.
all been there?
Yeah.
We fell into one today, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
It's different ratios for different types of it for the mixing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
depending on the type you have, it changes the
Yeah.
ratio
But it didn't look
of it.
that expensive.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I still have some.
I
of
think
the,
it's like-
regular stuff.
I think if you get it in like a Michaels or something, like that's expensive, right?
Mm,
I think it's like $10 for like a little, isn't it?
Little too-
I think so. I haven't really
Yeah.
gotten it there. I think I've gotten it online mostly.
See, like I have like a coating. It's not even lacquer. It's like thicker than lacquer, and it's a coating that you paint on. You know, it's clear. It's completely clear. It's an epoxy basically, and that's like it's in like a paint tube that you would get that's kind of big, but that was like $13, you know, for
Mm.
that. And it'll be good for this one, like that circular table is the thing I want to do that on.
Yeah.
You should,
Um,
yeah.
Paint
You know,
table.
clean it. We'll clean it a little bit. I also want to do that to the bottom because the bottom is starting to rot. So it also
Mm.
becomes a like a
seal,
structure,
like a seal.
a seal,
Yeah.
a structure.
It's
like
exactly with like the wood.
yeah.
That
that's
would,
really
like,
cool.
Like on the surface of it, if you just ran your finger down it, it would change a lot of it. A lot of it would fall off,
Yeah,
which is
Mm.
not what I want. Like I want to like trap it.
yeah, right,
Mhm.
right.
I do wonder if you can
We have
cut it.
sticks outside. We want to do it. Like,
Yeah.
We should really go nuts with that.
I wonder if you can you cut it after you epoxy it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more difficult.
Well, if
Sure.
you were to cut it, like if it's in like almost
Well,
a
you can
sheet of epoxy and that's that.
Yeah.
Um,
Just to trap in what it looks like.
yeah,
and then
yeah. I mean,
it
I've cut.
later.
I've cut. If you have a quick and sharp saw, I mean, and you do it right, I've cut. What's it called? Plexiglass and stuff. I mean, that's more or less what it is,
with a
right?
saw.
Yeah.
Really? Did it melt?
Like a circular saw?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't done that.
No,
with that.
I don't think
I've
so.
done it with with PVC. but-
PVC. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
done it with
PVC. Yeah. that's
which is more or less what that is.
I
right?
don't know.
Yeah, the chemistry of it all.
I wonder if it chips and breaks if you try to do it. I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's another world. But the epoxy stuff is really fun. If anybody has any weird ideas for that, I'm thinking about it more and more. I definitely want to try that fluorescent thing, that fluorescent paint on a.
It's really cool.
We have these old Christmas trees that we've been saving that we strip every
Oh, yeah.
year,
Mm.
and they just chill outside. Wear a mask, right? You want to make sure you wear a mask for the epoxy stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It stinks. The stuff my dad had on the boat, it was just tiny
Oh, the tubes. They
yeah.
smell terrible.
And he'd say like, hold your face away. And also we couldn't touch it because it gets super hot and it bonds very, very quickly. But that's another thing. Another guy's boat, this is like a fun little side story, caught fire next to us or like near us because he tossed away the extra epoxy that he had had. He tossed it out, and he tossed it out on like a styrofoam, like he was using like a styrofoam plate, and like just threw it in the trash, and the heat and everything of it like got
Burst into
all messed
flames.
up. Yeah, it's wild. Epoxy can be
You,
dangerous.
you can't cut it, but there's always a risk of cracking it.
Oh,
One
right.
thing says use a diamond cutting blade and drill.
Sharp,
Okay.
yeah. Make sure it's like
Uh,
really sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. What are we doing on time?
I think we're almost at an hour.
Yeah, let's
cool.
let's kick it.
Let's wrap
I'm
it
a
up.
little beat from the start
Mm.
of that. Sorry, folks, and thank you for jumping in. We've got like all kinds
Yeah.
of activity on the chat, and yeah, we were gearing back because last week we weren't on last week, so I think we just like fell out of flow a little bit.
Mhm.
And next week, we'll save the special heroes for next week.
Yep.
And for those who are watching, try to think of, if you come up with a cool superhero or just like
Oh yeah, any kind of fun
potentials, that's the
superhero.
The
idea.
potentials.
Mhm.
Think of like what are some examples of the ones that we've had?
So we had the hover boy, right? The
Yep, John's guy that can hover, but only
Um,
like 4 to 5 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the forester one, the tree mimicker,
Yep,
the glass manipulator.
that was yours. That was pretty
um,
good.
Trying to think of Rock Boy. Were like
Rock
the
Boy just
original
always has
ones.
rocks in his pockets.
Yeah.
What about the-
Rob just wrote one, Road Cone Hands Man. That's great. Do you have access to write that down? That's a
Yeah.
good note.
Road cone.
Road Cone Hands Man. That's
Documan.
brilliant. What is that?
Documan.
Oh, Documan was another one that John came up with. Have
Mhm.
you thought more on that?
A little bit.
I thought about it too. But like another superhero kind of like, or like anti-hero, like in another way. It was just like the news, like when they'd see something on news, or like, it was like social media, those videos where
Mhm.
just shows like terrible atrocities. Like there was one video the other day that I saw. I don't even know why it showed up on my feed, but there's a guy with cerebral palsy, and coming out of like a pharmacy or a convenience store, going to his car. Another dude just came up and just made fun of him first, and then
It's
just
terrible.
punched him. And I immediately thought of your guy who like does that with documentaries. But like
Yeah.
if you saw that, like if it were a TV,
Well,
like,
I mean, I probably would have hit him.
no, I
Yeah.
know, but I'm saying like if your character saw that online,
Yeah.
or like or a character like that who goes out and seeks out this vendetta
Yeah.
for people that do these things, so there's Documan, and there's like social media man. I mean, social media.
They're like the hall monitors of the internet.
Yeah. I like Justin's Midas man, and Rob said he's got the Midas touch. Yes, he does. Rob. That's pretty cool, Midas man.
That's
Turns
good.
things to gold. That's really neat. So yeah, this is fun, and this is probably going to be my favorites. We want to do segments we've been talking about. So next week we'll spiff it up, and we won't send two links. We'll have just one link next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
We still don't know why it's, we're not getting our feed, but people are seeing us. But
Yeah, that's good that everybody can see.
I guess this is the best way to check. I don't know why we didn't think of that before, but you just
Mm.
look at the link on your phone.
Yeah.
Like, what is it live? I don't know. We could just look at it.
Yeah.
We're still figuring it out.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
still figuring
Yeah, we're
stuff
getting
out.
there.
There's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, thanks for
Alright.
bearing with us.
Yeah.
Maybe-
Thanks
yeah,
for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in, and I think you're good, right? We don't need to unmute you.
Nope.
Well, thanks again, folks, for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week.
Later.
Hanging out just another night of the week. Or to be more specific, it's a Tuesday Eve. Got some ideas that just might intrigue. You should come on by tonight. We're spilling the beans.
Oh, got it. Still not showing up.